Frindle by Andrew Clements. Chapter 12, Part 2. In another one of those 20 million people was a staff writer from People's Magazine, and another one was a writer from 321 Content Magazine for Kids. Those are the other writers and producers and marketing people saw the story on the news, and all of them smelled a great idea. During the next 3 weeks, every man, woman, and child in America heard about this funny new word the kids were using instead of the word pen. And kids in Ohio and Iowa and New York and Texas and California started using it too. But Lawrence was suddenly flooded with orders for anything with the word Frindle on it. And he quickly got interested again. But there was complications. Bud's lawyer said, "Yes, see the stack of the orders there? Trouble. That's what that is. We got a trademark filled, but it's only like an application. The whole country knows that little kid made up the word, and unless you make a deal with his dad, you're going to end up with nothing. Maybe even a big fat lawsuit. The kids owns the word. When Miss Sally came home, Okay, look at this. American heard about this funny new word. When Mr. Allen came home at lunchtime, his wife told that he had to call Bud Lawrence. It's something about the new word. This was not good news to Tom Allen. He was sick and tired of all the fuss and being always from the hardware store so much while all this nonsense was happening. He put him weeks behind on his paperwork. He'd be lucky now to get his Christmas orders in time, even though he didn't really want anything to do with it. Bud was an old friend, so on the way back to the store, Nick's dad went to Bud Lawrence's office. "Tom, good to see you," said Bud. He stood up and walked around his desk to shake hands. "Have a seat." Tom sat down uneasily, and Bud pulled another chair over. "Even seen Westfield so stirred up about everything in your life. You and Guinea must be pretty proud of that boy of yours." Bud couldn't remember Nick's name. Tom shifted his chair and nodded. "Yes, it's quite something, that's for sure. But I'll tell you, Bud, I'm ready for all to just die down and blow away too much fuss." Instantly, Bud saw how to get what he wanted. "Well, Tom, I'm afraid it's not really going to go away. Looks like something stirred up. People are real interested. You probably saw the bright red blue points around town and the word Frindle or on M. And that was my during just testing the waters. But your boy, he owns that word. I got my lawyers to apply for a trademark a few weeks back because that's just the way I am. New things come along. I'd like to be right there in the middle of it." He grinned at Tom Allen, and Tom smiled back weakly. "Right now, I got a shirt printer in Massachusetts, and another one in Chicago, and another one in Los Angeles, making T-shirts with the word Frindle above a picture of a pen. I mean, if Frindle, each supplier had orders so far for over 20,000 shirts. Profit on every one of those is going to be $2, maybe $3. And I'm talking with some big pens and pencils compliances in Hong Kong and Japan about a deal that could be worth some really big money. They've seen this Frindle thing in the media, and they want to buy the rights to the trademark and make a new lines of Frindles for kids. I'm not kidding. This is a hot idea. But guess right. Just the thought of all this made Tom shrink back uncomfortably in his chair. It was way too much fuss Tom, let me be directed with you. As the boy guardians, you need to do the right thing about all this. I'd like to see where all this is going to go. I'm going to take some risks, spend some money, see what happens. But I need permission. I need your signature on this trademark papers, and I need to strike a deal with you about permissions to use that trademark. I know it seems like a big ruckus about a word, but we just can't tell what's to come of it unless we take some steps. Bud pointed at the papers on his desk. That's a contract, and it's fair and honest. It gives your boy 20% of whatever profits I might make. That's a fair, rightly generous for this kind of deal. So what do you say? Make sense? Let me take care of all of us and see if some good doesn't maybe come from it all. The papers and a pen were there on the desk next to Tom. He looked at Bud, then reached over, picked up the pen, and signed both copies of the trademark papers and 3 copies of the contract. I got no reason to doubt you or bit, Bud, and I sure don't want to mess with any of this myself. Is that it? He asked, standing up. Not quite, Tom. Here, the Bud Lawrence handed Nick down a check of $2,250. What's that for? What's this for? That's what I owe Nick for this sales of Frindles from the first 3 weeks, explained Bud with a smile. Tom looked at the check and said, "This is terrific, Bud, and I'm really glad about it because it sure helped with Nick's college. But I wish you'd just keep this between us. If Nick knew, he'd probably stop moving lawns, and I'd never get him to save another penny. So just between us, okay?" Bud said, "Sure, Tom, I understand. Just between us." And they shook hands. Mr. Allen left Bud's office and walked across the street to the savings bank. He set up a trust account for Nick, and the bank manager said he could make arrangements with Mr. Lawrence so any other orders would be deposited automatically. That sounds good to Tom Allen. If he never heard another word about it, that would be fine. As Nick's dad walked slowly back to the hardware store, he wondered if things were ever going to be the same again in quite a little town. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of chapter 12 in Frindle. Join us later for our next story time, and also join us for our channel update. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.